On today's Verts episode, I thought I'd take a look at some updated power rankings, my top 10 teams following the NFL trade deadline. Was there some movement? I thought a couple of notable trades where teams are trying to make some moves. So, going to take a look at that. Plus, are we on a collision course between these two teams for Super Bowl 59? We'll get to that later on as well. But if you want more NFL and college football coverage on a daily basis here on Verts, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. That way you never miss a video here on the channel. I am your host, Harrison Graham, bringing you fresh content every single day. All right, the Houston Texans come in at number 10 in my power rankings. Offense been in a bit of a funk. Obviously, Stephon Diggs out for the year now, but Nico Collins set to come back potentially as soon as this week. If not, should be back for sure by next week. And you got to get that offense going a bit again. C.J. Stroud not playing his best ball as of late, but still a 6-3 team, still in firm control of the division, still a coaching staff I believe in, but just in a bit of a funk offensively. Nico coming back, who was having a monster year before the injury, is going to be a major, major lift. At number 9, the Green Bay Packers. It felt weird when they traded veteran Preston Smith, but we found out today that he had requested a trade a couple of weeks ago. But Green Bay does have some young guys ready to go. Lucas Van Ness should take on a bigger role. Their defense is much improved under Jeff Hafley. I think he's done a nice job taking over for Joe Brady. The big issue right now at Green Bay is, look, Jordan Love is just kind of a roller coaster. The highs are awesome. The lows are not. And I get it. There's going to be some kind of willy-nilly play with him. That's just who he is. But he's got to cut down on the interceptions at least a little. I mean, he has some of the worst turnovers you'll ever see. The pick six against the Lions last week, he had one a few weeks back where he just flips it from his own end zone and it's an easy interception. I don't mind attacking downfield and you getting picked off sometimes, but the unforced errors, the unnecessary plays, quite frankly, the Will Levis type of plays, is just unacceptable for a player of his ilk and for what he got paid. His turnovers sometimes are like Will Levis. The good news is he's going to throw for 30-plus touchdowns, but you got to cut out some of the just carelessness and recklessness. If you can do that, Green Bay is going to be a major factor. Philadelphia Eagles at number 8. Listen, they're quietly playing good ball. 4 straight wins, 3 straight games in which Jalen Hurts and the offense looks as good as it's looked since pre-losing streak last year. First half of last year, the Super Bowl year, the year before as well. He seems to be confident under Kellen Moore in that offense. Vic Fangio has that defense playing better. I'm still not the biggest Sirianni guy, but they've got talent everywhere. My biggest issue with Philly is Sirianni going to just continue to make these reckless fourth down decisions? It just reeks of a divisional playoff game in a big spot. He just makes a wild decision, and it costs him a game. But they're loaded with talent. Howie's done a nice job of building up that roster. Saquon's been unbelievable in that offense. I mean, the reverse hurdle, I don't think I've ever seen that before. The Eagles are playing well, and they're in a divisional race with the team we'll talk about here in just a few moments. I got the Minnesota Vikings at number 7. Big bounce-back game last week, beat the Colts. They get Cam Robinson at left tackle, who's clearly not as good as Christian Darrisaw, who they lost for the season. But can he be 75-80% of that and at least be a solid Band-Aid? I think that's a huge upgrade from what their backup situation was. You just wonder, does a Sam Darnold crash eventually happen? We know this team is well coached. They're talented on offense. They're talented on defense. O'Connell, Flores, can Darnold keep this up? Can he play well in playoff games? Because clearly they're going to be a playoff team barring a collapse. That was a big win against Indianapolis this past Sunday night. Okay, at number 6, the Washington Commanders. I mentioned Philadelphia in a divisional playoff race with another team. That, of course, is Washington. And they make a big move, arguably the biggest move at the trade deadline, by going to get Saints cornerback Marshawn Lattimore, one of the better corners over the last 5 or 6 years. The Commanders are going all in. Now, not necessarily just for this year, but they're going to take advantage of this Jaden Daniels rookie window. They feel confident they got their guy at quarterback, and once you do, when you have him on a rookie deal, that's when you start making moves. So getting Lattimore was a big one. Their defense has been playing better than expected. Dan Quinn, Joe Witt doing a nice job there. But now you add some credibility and talent to that secondary with Lattimore. If the offense keeps cooking with Kingsbury and Daniels and that running game as well, this team's going to be a tough out. They're going to be dangerous down the stretch. Could they win the division? Them versus Philadelphia. They play each other twice over the next 5 or 6 weeks. Top 5 we go. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I still have some hesitancy with this Russell Wilson thing, but in the 2 games he's played really well. Plus, they added a receiver that fits his skill set in Mike Williams, who's a jump ball machine. Russ loves throwing those, lob passes down the sideline, one-on-one opportunities. He's been doing it with Pickens. Now he's got Williams he can do it with as well. They get Preston Smith for a 7th-round pick, just a nice edge rusher who should fill in for DeMarvin Leal, who suffered an injury. So they've got a loaded rotation there, rushing the passer. So they're pretty complete. It's going to come down to, especially down the stretch in big-time games, their schedule gets a lot tougher. Can their offense continue this pace? They've been good the last couple of weeks against bad competition. Will it continue? If it does, we know with that defense, they're going to be a tough out. The Buffalo Bills coming at number 4 in my post-trade deadline power rankings. 4 straight wins for Buffalo, 7-2. I think this is the most balanced offense Josh Allen has had. Sure, they don't have the big-time wide receivers, but they added Amari Cooper at the deadline. That's a big move. I shouldn't say at the deadline, a couple weeks ago. And then with James Cook and their backs, Ray Davis, ability to run the football, we haven't seen them be this balanced offensively. And the defense has quietly just picked it up the last several weeks, playing really, really well. So they've pretty much already clinched the AFC East. Now it's about seeding and playing good at the right time. And is this the year for Sean McDermott and the Bills to break through in the postseason? Obviously, the Chiefs have been that big hurdle for them. It's also been true for the Baltimore Ravens, who I've got at number 3. Bills have a better record, but Baltimore, just 1 game behind Buffalo in the standings, hammered the Bills head-to-head. And let's face it, Derrick Henry has changed this offense. I wondered if Baltimore would make a defensive move at the trade deadline. Technically, they did. They swapped 7th-round picks, future 7th-round picks, with the Rams for Tre'Davious White, the veteran corner who just a few years ago was elite, but the last couple has been terrible. Can they rediscover some magic there with him? Clearly, the Rams were basically willing to give him away. So we'll see if Baltimore can find anything there. The defense has not been as good as in recent years, which we expected them to take a step back with some of the guys they lost, but it kind of feels like they've taken 2 steps back. But the offense has taken a step forward. So we'll see come playoff time if their defense can hold its own. And most importantly, can Lamar deliver in big games? What'll help is the ability to lean on Derrick Henry, which is something they haven't had in the past. Like, they've always had good running backs, but they haven't had a guy in a big game like, hey, go run the ball 25 or 30 times. Feels like they have that now with Derrick Henry. All right, top 2 we go. The Detroit Lions. They've won 6 in a row. They added Za'Darius Smith to what's already been the best team in the NFC this year. Sure, losing Aiden Hutchinson sucks, but since then they haven't skipped a beat. And like I said, adding Smith at least gives you some pass rush production to help replace that. He's got 5.5 sacks this year. And what this offense is doing with Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, the running game, they're lethal offensively. It's the best offense in the NFL, and I'm not sure it's close. Is this the year for Detroit? They knocked on the doorstep last year in the NFC Championship game. I think they are clearly the team to beat in the NFC. And are they in a collision course with the Kansas City Chiefs in a potential Super Bowl matchup? Kansas City, all they do is win, 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 no matter what. 14 in a row for the Chiefs. You're already seeing DeAndre Hopkins pay dividends. He had a couple of touchdowns on Monday Night Football. 8-0 this year, 14 straight. We're 3 wins away in a row for the Chiefs. When I say we, I mean from a Chiefs perspective. That would be 17 in a row. That's a season. It's kind of remarkable because people still question how good this team is. And listen, are they dominant? No, but they're very good on defense. I thought Mahomes had his best game of the year the other night. And ultimately, when they have to make plays, number 15 is going to make them. That's why when the Bucs didn't go for 2 and took that thing to overtime, everyone on the planet's like, well, if the Chiefs win the coin toss, the game is over. And that's exactly what happened, because when I don't want to say his back is against the wall, but when it's time to make winning plays, Mahomes is going to make them 9 times out of 10. And we saw that play out the other night. And, I think something that should have Chiefs fans even more encouraged is throughout that game, you saw more positive signs and consistency offensively. Travis Kelce, 14 catches. I mentioned Hopkins. Even though Worthy stepped out of bounds on what would have been a huge catch, like if they can spring him loose for a couple big plays, That'll help as well. Kareem Hunt's running the ball well. They think they're going to get Pacheco back in early December. So this thing could come together even more than it already is. And that's pretty scary because they're 8-0, and they're just kicking ass and taking names every single week. Will this be Super Bowl 59? Chiefs-Lions? Is this the matchup we're going to see this year? It certainly feels like that could be the case. Comment below. Let me know down in the comments if you have a Super Bowl prediction. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, trying to get to 5,000 subs. We're over 4,400. If you want to help us out, if you enjoyed this episode and want free and daily football content, college and NFL, we're the channel for you. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll see you guys next time.